Hey everybody, Kevin Anthony here, and today I'm going to be talking about how to deal with feeling insecure in your relationship. But before I do, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. I am just over 60,000 subscribers now. My goal is to get to 100,000. I can tell that many people who watch my videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you are watching this video, please click the subscribe button. That helps me greatly. It doesn't cost you anything at all. Okay, so this is about feeling insecure in your relationships, and this works for men or women. If either of you is feeling insecure in your relationship, here's some things that you can do. Number one, do your inner personal work. In other words, it's not really about them, it's about you. Oh, there's the truth bomb for today's video. Most of the time when you are feeling insecure in a relationship, it has to do with your own inner stuff. So you want to make sure that you do the work to take care of any of that stuff. So maybe you have past trauma from past relationships. Maybe it's something from your childhood. Whatever it is that's getting in the way and making you feel insecure, you want to figure out what that is and deal with it on your own. You will see that when you do that, your relationship will start to get better. But unfortunately, a lot of people always look to the other person in a relationship. So if I feel insecure in a relationship, I start going, well, I feel insecure because they did this, or they're doing that, or they won't do this, or they didn't do that, right? But most of the time, it really has to do with ourselves and how we are feeling about it, how we are interpreting the things that are happening in the relationship. It's often triggering our own fears and insecurities. So you want to do that interpersonal work first. Of course, you can do that on your own. You can work with somebody, a coach, a psychologist, whatever, to help you move through those things. But that will go a long way towards making you feel secure in your relationships. All right, number two, create good boundaries and keep them. A lot of times people feel insecure in relationships because they haven't been able to set boundaries. So let's just say that you feel insecure because when your partner goes out, they talk to other men or women. Well, set some boundaries around what is appropriate and what's not. If you set good boundaries and both of you have committed to abiding by those boundaries, then you can feel much more secure that when your partner is out and about, that they are not going to be hitting on other men or women or intentionally flirting with them or whatever. But boundaries can really go a long way towards helping you feel secure. Boundaries are also something that many people have difficulty with for many different reasons. Don't be afraid to set reasonable boundaries. Just make sure that you talk about them beforehand and that you both agree to them. And don't agree to a boundary if you don't really agree to it. You see this a lot. Couples will have a conversation and one couple will say, I would like to set this boundary in our relationship. And the other person, all right, fine, I'll go along with it. But they don't really want to go along with it. If you're not really all in on supporting the boundaries that you're creating together, then you're not likely to stick with them. So make sure that if you do agree to them, you really do agree to them. All right, next, having conversations about how each other feels and what each other needs. So much of the insecurity often revolves around not knowing what the other person is thinking, how the other person feels. And if we don't know how they feel, we can often feel insecure. Maybe I'm giving too much to this relationship and they don't feel the same way back, right? That stuff happens all the time. So just have conversations about it. Sit down and talk to each other about it. Here's how I feel about you. Here's how I feel about the relationship. Here's what I need out of this relationship, right? Get it all out on the table. If you both do that, then you can let go a lot of the fears and insecurities that arise from the crazy things that our minds make up. It's weird, but we call it the monkey mind because in the absence of information, our brain will make up all these crazy ideas that probably have nothing to do with the actual situation, but our fears and insecurities get in the way. So if you can have those conversations, now you've got that information and your brain doesn't have to try to fill in the blanks by making up crazy stories. All right, next one. Choose the right partner. If you are in a relationship with somebody that constantly makes you feel insecure, this may or may not be the right relationship for you. Now, again, number one in this video was do your own interpersonal work. So if you're a basket case, it might not be the other partner, but it might be that you are in a relationship with somebody whose needs or desires are incompatible with yours, which is what's constantly creating this insecurity. I know a couple who, while they were technically in an open relationship, one of them really liked to have long-term multiple relationships. So in other words, her partner, she liked to be in relationships with the same people for long periods of time, whereas he liked to do more of sort of the swinging lifestyle. So he would have multiple different partners all the time, and that made her feel really, really insecure. But that was really because they had a difference in the way they both approached open relationship. Now, that's just one extreme example, I understand. I chose an extreme example to really illustrate the point. But you see how having some incompatible values, maybe you might call them, in a relationship can really lead to insecurity. Because in this particular case, she was constantly in fear that he was going to potentially fall in love with somebody else because his partners were changing all the time. So choose the right partner. Obviously, you don't want to, the moment you're feeling insecure in a relationship, bail out of it because, there are a lot of things that you can potentially do. But if you continuously feel insecure and you're doing the work on your end and it's not seeming to help, then you might want to look at whether or not this is the right relationship for you to be in. And lastly, make sure you are both 100% committed to the relationship. One of the things that I see often in coaching is that one person in the relationship is 100% in and the other person is not quite 100% in. And the person who is 100% in can feel that the other person isn't 100% in. And what that does is create insecurity. I have seen this over and over and over again. And you will hear people say things like, I love him more than he loves me. Or, I'm way more into her than she is into me, right? Those are ways of expressing a bit of insecurity around the fact that one partner might be more invested in the relationship than the other. But if you can both feel confident that you're 100% in and that you're giving everything to that relationship, then you can let go of a lot of that fear and insecurity around the fact that they may or may not be 100% in. And a lot of times people will say, well, yeah, of course I'm 100% in. Okay. But did you communicate that to your partner? Did you tell him or her that? Are they aware of that? You might think that they are, but if you've never really voiced it, there is a potential that they don't know that they're still sort of in this limbo land of is he or is she or is he not or is she not, right? So make sure that you communicate it. All right, there you go. If you have been feeling insecure in your relationship, those are some things that you can do, hopefully, to remove that insecurity and start to become much more secure in your relationship.